So, Shannon, through 6 episodes, how much has The Last Dance hurt LeBron's GOAT case?
For me, it's hurt it none. LeBron's resume has not changed. What they've done is that they packaged this footage of Michael Jordan over 15 years and is showing you behind the scenes. These games were played. Now, I don't know if everybody was old enough to be able to watch them. I don't know if people remember them or not, but nothing has changed. These are they're showing highlights. You remember they talked about the Knicks, how the Knicks, the last time they played the Knicks, they went down 2-0. And then they said game 3, they made it seem like Jordan had a virtuoso. Jordan was like 6 of 18. They won the game without him having an outstanding performance. So for me, nothing has changed in my mind. This is a compilation of behind-the-scenes footage of Michael Jordan and The Last Dance. Obviously, they caught some footage of when he first got into the NBA and all that other stuff. But for me, Skip, the biggest thing is seeing all this, how he got started with Jordan and how his mom made a grown man take a trip, say, you're going to hear them out, this presentation that Nike was going to present. His dad said, son, you'd be a fool not to take this deal. Seeing all those things, I saw every game, basically, especially what they showed, what they're showing, these playoff games, I saw every one of them. I'm old enough to remember Michael Jordan from the 82 shot against Georgetown in New Orleans to all the way to the final shot and when he held the poles. I remember that. I also remember those 2 years. They didn't have anything about those 2 years in Washington, did he? But that's neither here nor there. For me, nothing has changed. Jordan cannot add anything else to his resume. LeBron James is still compiling his resume. So for me, it has not hurt LeBron's chances. For me, LeBron is the GOAT, and there's nothing he can do to hurt his chances.
So, obviously, for me, this quote-unquote GOAT debate was over before it started. I was there in 1998 as the columnist for the Chicago Tribune and got to see The Last Dance from the inside out. And for that matter, I was there that night in 1982 in April when I watched Michael Jordan, or as he was known then, Mike Jordan, this freshman for North Carolina, hit the last shot that launched his career as a college player. And for me, having watched nearly every game via TV that LeBron James has ever played in the National Basketball Association, I can tell you it's just not even close. But I've been telling you that for years here on Undisputed. So now, just from the sheer force of the highlights, the video highlights, the game highlights that we have been, quote unquote, forced to watch for much of 6 hours of this documentary, all of them just hitting younger viewers right between the eyes. Wow, the moves, the launch, the acrobatics, the left-handed, right-handed, the jump shooting, greatest jump shooting from mid-range you've ever seen in the history of this league. The tenacity, the force of will, the killer mentality, the attack mode. You're getting to see it just relentlessly over and over and over again. And I would think it has crushed the resolve of even the staunchest holdouts of LeBron James, the last line of defenders and believers and idolaters. I think even the younger LeBron lovers, the blindest witnesses of all, have had to sit back at some point during these first 6 hours and say, ugh, they were right all along. Jordan's just better than our guy, LeBron. We still love him, but Jordan was just better. And then, Shannon, the fallout, the negativity directed toward LeBron, inspired by the documentary, has been relentlessly, crushingly overwhelming. Because just last week, we had 2 of LeBron's former coaches, Mike Malone, who coached him for 5 years as an assistant coach, his first go-around in Cleveland, who sat courtside in an assistant coach's seat and watched the meltdowns against Orlando in the playoffs and then against Boston his last go-around, the first time around in Cleveland, when he just disappeared in games 4, 5, and 6. Mike Malone said that on killer mentality alone, Jordan is just on another level from LeBron. And then we had his head coach for about a year and a half in Cleveland, David Blatt, his second go-around, say that it was just so much more impressive that Jordan stayed put. He won 6 for 6 championships with 6 MVPs in the finals, all in Chicago. And furthermore, Jordan was about us while he implied that LeBron was about I. I've said that from the start. And then we had Magic. We had Magic Johnson during the documentary the other night just saying flat out, Jordan's the GOAT. And then we had Charles Barkley on ESPN on SportsCenter right after the documentary saying he's just the greatest player ever played. And so Charles was saying there's no shame in me losing to him in that 93 finals, Phoenix versus Chicago, because he's just the greatest player ever played. And then we had Larry Bird, we got to see him the other night, say after 49 and 63 points scored against the Celtics, it was God disguised as Michael Jordan. And then we saw the Dream Team, that showdown, that inter-squad game. It's the greatest collection of talent ever on one floor. And they were going at it. It was for pride and for blood. And the guy who took the game over after Magic dared to insult him and call him out was Michael Jordan. And they all said he's just too good. And then we had Dennis Rodman last week saying, I could have shut him down. His game is simple. He doesn't have any moves, LeBron James. Wow, yeah. Really? Yeah. Interesting.
And then we got to see
Kobe the other night. What's that?
Like Dennis shut down Larry Bird when he dropped 37, 8, and 8. Larry Bird is less athletic than LeBron James. Okay. Just saying.
Okay. Well, that's a nice try. And then we got Kobe the other night on the documentary in one of his last interviews before he passed, saying that he gets offended when fans say, oh, you could have taken Michael one-on-one. And he said, what you get from me is from him. Like, I'm all him. He made me. He sort of guided me into that I am now. And then we had John Sally the other night saying, yeah, we had to come up with the Jordan rules because Jordan just wasn't human. He just wasn't human. And on and on. I don't know. I could keep going, Shannon, but I feel like I'm just piling on because it's just one commentary after another. Coaches, rivals, great players. Everybody is saying he is the GOAT, and I don't know what argument you really have left.
Well, let me start with one. You said that David Blatt implied that LeBron James was about self and not about team. Now, I love how you're taking implications now, because when it was implied that Michael Jordan didn't want Isaiah on the team, you said hogwash. Now, even though it wasn't explicitly stated, it was implicitly implied, but you want nothing to do with that. All those guys, now you hear every guy talking about nobody wanted to play with Isaiah, nobody wanted Isaiah, nobody liked Isaiah. But these very same guys, all 11 of the NBA All-Star says, the Dream Team says, it doesn't matter if you like a player or not. The only thing that matters is if you're going for the common goal. So for this situation, it mattered if I like Isaiah, because the common goal didn't matter. It only mattered that we didn't like Isaiah, because it's hard for me to believe of all these championships that's been won, that all teammates got along like the Dream Team did without Isaiah. Now, that's the implication that I got, but since you like implications, Skip Bayless, you know, for me, having seen both guys play, there are certain things you got to see with your own eyes. You know, watching NASCAR is one thing, but when you go watch it in person, to actually see how close these cars actually are, and to see they're going 180, 190 miles an hour. So imagine getting on the 405, just that wide, and you got 42 cars, and they're going 180 miles an hour, and I can reach out and touch the other guy. That's what you have to witness. Seeing LeBron on TV doesn't do him justice. You got to see the man in person. Skip, how much money do you think the USA spends on spying and intelligence on, say, let's say, Cameroon or Tunisia or Djibouti? Now, how much do you think we spend on intelligence on Russia, North Korea, China? Because they're threats. That's why Jordan fans are coming after LeBron James. That's why everybody's trying to take their pounds of flesh. They view this man as a threat. If they didn't, it wouldn't bother. Nobody takes shots at Larry Bird. Nobody takes shots at Magic Johnson. Nobody takes shots at Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Russell, Harden, Kobe. Only GOAT James because they view him as a threat. You only try to suppress threats. You don't try to suppress the man that you know you better than and everybody know you better than. That's why you do it. That's why everybody try to take their pound of flesh from GOAT James. They know what he represents. They know who he is, and he's coming. He ain't done yet. He has 4 MVPs. He's working on a 5th. He has 3 titles. He's working on a 4th. Whether or not y'all like it or not, I believe he's arrived. But if he hasn't arrived in some of your mind, he's coming. He's coming.
Really? He's 37.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Don't worry about that.
That's what it is.
There you go with all that foolishness.
So Charles Barkley the other day just shrugged off LeBron as the 7th best player ever. That's interesting.
That's okay.
Is that a threat to Michael Jordan? I don't think so. He's only a threat to me because of you. The only reason I'm even returning fire here is because you are my partner on Undisputed since September of 2016. And on a daily basis, I have to watch you wear a GOAT mask and make this silly, inane case, this shot full of holes case, that LeBron James is actually better than Michael Jordan. And so, because I know you are the leader of the blind witnesses, and they are still blind, I need to help open their eyes here. And I'm happy this documentary came along because all the people who count, the Larry Birds and the Magic Johnsons, although I shouldn't speak them in plural, there's only one Larry Bird and one Magic Johnson, they know, everybody who knows, they know that Michael was the GOAT, and it's not even close. It's shameful, it's disrespectful, it's irreverent, it's blasphemous to even put the name of LeBron James in the same sentence with Michael Jordan. And yet, what was Michael's fear about this documentary is that some people were going to wake up and not like him as much, that he was going to come off as a horrible person.
Skip, hold on, time out. Everybody's been telling me Michael Jordan didn't care what people thought of him. Now he cares? This is what I don't understand. The very thing Michael Jordan was is what you criticize LeBron for, being selfish, only thinking about himself. But now all of a sudden, that's a great attribute to have, now that Jordan had it. But when you think LeBron has that, he's selfish, all he cares about is self. He's bleep, he's pooping on his team. Y'all need to stop this, because anytime LeBron has a trait, oh, that's bad. Come to find out Michael Jordan got that trait. It's good that Mike had it, but it's bad that LeBron has it. I ain't gonna let y'all off the hook like that today. I heard Magic say it. Magic said this. You don't always have to get along with your team, but as long as you're going for the common goal, which is to win that title and win the game, you should be willing to set aside differences. Nobody was willing to set aside differences with Isaiah, knowing that he should have been on that team, knowing you got a hole in that man's resume because y'all petty, because y'all mad. You know why you're mad? Because he can say something nobody else can. I bust Magic head, I bust Larry head, I bust Michael's head. Isaiah did that at 6'1", $170. Nobody else can say they did it. Nobody else can say they did it. He took them down. He did that.
Okay.
And that's why they mad at him.
I love it when I have you backed into a corner, you constantly have to change the subject and make it about somebody else. This is not about Isaiah Thomas. We're going to do a whole topic a little later in the show on Isaiah Thomas. And I will quickly throw a quote at you from Magic out of the book that he did with Larry Bird. He said, nobody wanted Isaiah on that team. Isaiah, as you have said on this show, was just hard to get along with. He tended to rub people the wrong way. Beneath this smile, and it's maybe the greatest smile ever, it's right up there with Magic's smile. Beneath the smile, he was just difficult to get along with. We all know that, and we still love Isaiah. This isn't about Isaiah, but my point was, Jordan at age 57 had some concern that if he signed off on this documentary and it touched all the bases, and we saw 2 big bases get touched this past Sunday night, that was gambling and lack of activism, taking political stances, something Jordan did not do, did not want to do.
Right.
Those 2 things could turn him into a horrible person. And again, do they bother me? They might hurt Michael's image a little bit, but it doesn't hurt the GOAT argument. In fact, all that we've seen, his rage to win, he can't turn off his competitive juices after hours, that just contributes to the GOAT argument to me. And the lack of political activism, he's just saying all I was a basketball player. Well, so does that hurt the GOAT argument? No, that doesn't hurt it. You could argue that even helps it. And in the end, we saw the teaser coming up coming up on Sunday night is the fact that he did punch Steve Kerr in the eye after Kerr was getting on him and shoved him, and he threw back, and then he also punched Will Perdue, who was setting hard picks on him in practice. And off the Kerr incident, Michael got thrown out of practice. Okay, does that make him a horrible person? I don't know. It doesn't make him a great guy, but does it hurt his GOAT argument? No, you could argue it actually helps it.
Hold up, Skip. Hold up, time out. LeBron James says we're top heavy as bleep. And you say, that's LeBron, that's a bad example to set because you said the other guys that's not you, Kyrie, and Kevin Love, you basically saying they're worthless. Michael Jordan punches a guy in the eye twice. And you say, oh, that makes him a great leader. Man, what am I missing? What am I missing?
What would Shannon Sharpe have done under the same circumstance? If somebody on the other side in an inter-squad scrimmage kept coming at you, and you warned them, and you said, don't do that again. Don't blindside block me or whatever the case may be. Don't hit me late. Don't do that again. And you run another play, and they do it again. What is old Shay Sharpe going to do? He's going to knuckle down. He's going to throw down. Somebody's going to get punched.
Okay. Right, but here's the thing, though, Skip. I'm not saying Michael didn't have the right to do that, but all I'm saying, you can't say that made him a great teammate, and when LeBron says we're top heavy as bleep, saying that makes him a bad teammate. That's all I'm saying. You're trying to say a guy punching one guy is that shows leadership. The other guy saying that we're top heavy shows poor leadership. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
Well, you just said it, and the truth is, the Bulls were afraid of Michael Jordan. And when he said, follow me, boy, they followed because he led. I got to see the other night, we got to see a replay on ESPN of Game 5, the closeout game, 2014, when my Spurs blew LeBron and company off the finals floor by a record finals margin. And I saw the pregame huddle in which LeBron said, follow me. They did jump up 22-6. Then they lost the game by 17. Michael didn't lose games by 17. He didn't lose big games, key games, sink or swim games by 17 points. It just didn't happen. So every time we brought up LeBron in this conversation, go ahead.
But see what you're doing, Skip. You say now, sink or swim games. Michael Jordan has lost playoff games by double digits, by more than a point. He's lost playoff games by 10, 15, 20 points. But because they weren't sink or swim. So now we're putting value on losses. That only happens with Michael Jordan. Nobody else gets value placed on losses but 2 people. And I've only known those 2 people since I started working with you. That's one Michael Jordan, and the other is Tom Brady. Because if you play outstanding in a loss, oh my God, did you see that Herculean effort? You lost. Everybody else you lose, you lose. It's simple as that. Go home. Not Michael, not Tom Brady. Skip, baby, y'all need to stop this. LeBron is not going away. Y'all trying to quell this uprising, but we coming. I believe we already have arrived. We already here. But we got enough of these LeBronites out here. We coming. Y'all can't quell this uprising. We are going to overthrow the throne. Skip Bayless, you can pull up the Great Wall like they did in China, but you know what? The mongrels are coming. We crossing that wall. We coming over, bruh.
The Mongols? Genghis Khan, Mongol.
Yeah, we coming. Yeah, we coming.
You know what? You already went because when LeBron had the audacity the other night to tweet that he knew what it was like to go through struggles and get to hold and cradle that championship trophy, then he went 10 fire emojis. He allowed me to knock down the wall and say, okay, let's look at LeBron's struggles, his epic struggles, because they were epic fails.
Yes.
Michael's struggles were just epic, period. LeBron failed miserably against the Boston Celtics that last playoff series before he took his talents to South Beach. He disappeared so badly in games 4, 5, and 6, his owner accused him of quitting. Nobody ever accused Michael Jeffrey Jordan of quitting. It just didn't happen. Then he turns right around the next year, his first go-around with the Heat, the Heatles. And they're playing the Dallas Mavericks in the finals, and they're up 2-1. And in games 4, 5, and 6, LeBron disappeared, melted down. Chosen one became the frozen one, unlike any superstar I've ever seen in any big game situation or setting. It was the most epic fail of all. That ended the GOAT debate right there because Jordan has none of those on his resume. Everybody who kept beating him, Celtics or Pistons, they're talking about him like he's God. He's God. He's not human. We're so fortunate to have gotten by him. Nobody said he quit. He melted down. He shrank. He shriveled up.
Skip, let me tell you what they said. They said they accused Noah of drunkenness, but he got the art. It doesn't matter what they accuse you of. Accusation is not fact. Accusation is not true. There have been a lot of people that have lost careers, lost livelihoods because of accusation. The mere accusation in and of itself is not enough. We need to get away from accusation. We need to have some concrete facts. But see, what you're doing, you're trying to say, well, Michael Jordan, he lost it. No, Skip. If I drop out of Harvard, you drop out of some other school. Skip, you dropped out. It doesn't matter. Oh, it was prestigious. That's Harvard. You quit. So he got beat. You need to stop trying to conflate, saying, well, because he got beat by Boston, that made it better. He got beat by the bad boy Pistons, that made it better. No, it didn't. What you're trying to do, you and others like you, are trying to suppress what we are, who we are, but you can't do it. You got too late of a start, Skip. That was the thing. You remember like Achilles, when you're supposed to throw him away, you didn't. And now we come back and we took it over. We take it over. Hostile takeover, Skip. Big bank take little bank. You know how it worked. You remember in the recession? All the little banks got taken over by the big banks. And what you did, you made the bigger banks more powerful because we engulfed those smaller banks. So we gobbling up Magic. We gobbling up Larry, we gobbling up Isaiah, we gobbling up KD, and before you know it, we gonna be too strong for anybody to say anything about us. Big bank took little bank.
So last night, to sum this up, I got to watch the great Mark Jackson, guy I know, on SportsCenter, talking about playing against Jordan, Game 7, Pacers versus Bulls, obviously, in 1998. I was there sitting courtside. Mark Jackson has been sitting courtside for many of LeBron's games, many of his finals games. So he's gotten to see it up close and personal. And he just flat out said, greatest player who ever played was Michael Jordan. I'm sorry, Shannon, not close. Game over. You have danced your last dance with your GOAT debate.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.